keep it alive through these lines I write. I keep it live cause I thrive. I might just blow your mind tonight. I'm so hyped, but it's no hype. From this height, it's direct hits on sight. I'm your type, lend me your ears to show you that there's something in me. I'm not giving up, I'm standing right here, holding these days hostage, and I'll make this my year. We turning fear into love, and the love's in the air. I love doing this cause nothing compares, nothing can share that same type of feeling when you feeling them flares. They can't catch it, it's havoc. I rip to a tear, switch a scenario, my stereos, I leave them impaired. Variables start to change and they're all in my range. I just gotta grab it, it's all mathematics. Every step is drastic, I make it fantastic. I'm trying to take your breath away. Asthmatic.
This is live through the stereo. Go and let it blow, blow through the stereo. I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo, stereo. This is live through the stereo. Go and let it blow, blow through the stereo. I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo, stereo.
Yeah, just nod your head with it, so explicit and vivid. Every image is intricate, intimate. I put my all into it, no scrimmage and no rules. I'm a pro tool, hear my heartbeat, beat into the vocals. I'm so loco, lost my mind, oh no. It's Ponderoso, dope, so no overdose, cause it's dope, yo. Man, this is house grown, mixed with some milestones. So I let the style flow down like the Dow Jones, bringing it with some foul tones, letting the crowd know we getting loud, so it's eardrum rudiments. Yeah, we bring it rude again. Move, little hooligan. Music for tuning in, full time to the 10. I'm on my clock like I told you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Anti-Media Radio. Once again with your host Nick Burnaby of the Anti-Media. I just want to wish you guys at least congratulate you guys on whoever had a long weekend and all that stuff. You know, the holiday, 4th of July and all that stuff. Make sure you tune into us on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on UCY.tv. We're at the same time every day, 8 o'clock Pacific time. I'm also joined here by my co-host, DB Schwartz. How you doing tonight, man?
Doing well. Just watching the, I guess, the thematics unfold over there, and I guess they're going to get their sectarian violence and get all their, 3 or 4 little mini-states out of that area, just like they wanted.
Well, just like Dick Cheney had predicted, remember?
Yeah.
He predicted it before, and this was in the late 90s when he said, yeah, well, we can't go into Iraq because if we do, then it's going to cause this three-way split between the Kurds, the Sunnis, and the Shia, which is, maybe not coincidentally, exactly what is happening now.
Yeah, exactly. It's spilling over now, and it's spilling over everywhere, and it's a hotbed. They're just setting it up like we talked about last week, how there's always these theaters of war, and now because the weaponry is so advanced, none of these big countries dare fight each other on their home field unless they really want their own families to be at risk. So what do? Set up proxy war. What's the best reason for a proxy war? Well, these guys have this massive instability. We got to go in there and be peacekeepers with the UN. How many UN guys are going to end up in here now?
Yeah, exactly. And now here's the thing. Everything that we're doing is basically, it's more or less just going in, making sure that there's a regime that's friendly to corporations, right? Because we don't care if they're dictators or not, because look at all the dictators that we're supporting. Even right now, we're supporting a dictatorship in Saudi Arabia, a very brutal dictatorship, in fact. So it doesn't matter if they're democratic, if they support freedom, if they support women's rights. They don't care about that. Now, are you friendly towards our big corporations that rule the government? If you are, then you're cool. If you're not, then you need freedom and you need democracy. And then they drop bombs and they supposedly, they sell it to the American people as freedom and democracy, when in the reality, anyone that knows what's going on knows that we're over there making sure that there's a regime that's going to be friendly to corporations, and that's about the end of it. That's as far as our humanitarianism goes.
And we'll turn on them in a second. And if you saw today that McCain, who's been the biggest war hawk pro-Israel guy ever, now finally came out and said Netanyahu's government is spiraling out of control, and he said lack of confidence he has in him now. So now they're switching sides. Why? To punish Israel. Now there's a lot of chatter. I don't know if you even know about this, Nick, but there's a lot of chatter going around about how Israel is now is going to be punished for their role in the events that happened almost 13 years ago, and we all know what that is. Something about the Mossad agents getting in there and kind of causing us to pretty much react and go in and take out countries in the Middle East. That was all a result of one event. And if our own intelligence apparatus, figured out that this other one played us for a fool just to attack their own enemies and make them safer, well, now those chickens have come home to roost. And this is a big kind of theory going around right now, that this is why this is going on and why we're arming them.
Oh man, yeah. There's these documents, and I didn't want to bring them up really, just because they're not out yet. But supposedly, it's a lot of the stuff that Greenwald got. It's a lot of the stuff that came from the original package that Snowden sent out. Because Snowden claims that he's not in possession to any of this stuff. He's already sent it out to the journalists to go through and kind of decide what to put out there and what not to put out there. But there's a site, I believe they're called CryptoMe. And it's like a whistleblower hacker type of site, and they claim to be in possession of a bunch of these files, and they said that they're going to release these files sometime this month in order to avert some kind of war, some kind of big war. And a part of this stuff is the stuff that Greenwald was supposedly going to release that he ended up backing out of because the government supposedly scared him or brought something up to him that he had to revise some things or whatever. And these guys are like, look, if Greenwald's not going to post it, we're going to, and it may be something to do with Israel and the Middle East, or whatever it is that's going on over there. Because let's face it, the place is an absolute powder keg. Almost every country has some kind of big dissenting movement, or oppositional government type of thing, or in the case like Syria and Iraq, you got an outright militia that's being armed by a superpower, fighting against the established government and all that stuff. So I mean, it's an absolute hellhole over there right now, and the last thing that the area needs is more U.S. intervention, because everything that we do over there just inflames tensions even worse.
Yep, and I can only assume the war they're talking about is pretty much going to be the fight for Syria against Russia. I think that they're going to try very hard to sell that to the people, because fighting a superpower like Russia would mean that we would probably have a draft and we'd probably go into a wartime economy. Would that fix our economy for people that weren't directly involved in the war? Yeah, it probably would, because then everything gets geared towards production. We shift all the factories back, but it's a horrible cost, because then it'll be 1 billion or 2 people that probably perish. And it causes World War III. And maybe that's what they're going to try to avoid, because can they sell a war to the American people if they know that we armed a terrorist group? I don't think we could. I don't think if people saw that plain distinction and saw that connection right there, they would never go for it, and we could never go into Syria with our real military, and all this stuff we're doing right now is ineffectual against Assad because he's propped up by Russia.
Yeah, it's just turned into a classic proxy war, like an Orwell-style proxy war, where it's just a way to waste resources, draw out the economy, and get the rich richer, the military-industrial complex. I just watched the Eisenhower speech a few minutes before the show, the one when he warned against the military-industrial complex because he saw the power that they were gaining. Now, let's not be fooled. A lot of this stuff going on over there is part of it's the military-industrial complex. And it's the people that are trying to secure the resources. One of the biggest reasons why we go into these countries and overthrow the government. If you look at Iran and what we did to Iran back in the 70s, we overthrew their government because they nationalized the oil. And if you nationalize oil, then they boot out all the corporations that are in there extracting all the profits out. And so that's what we did in Iran, is we went and overthrew the government because they were trying to nationalize the oil. And so that's exactly what we're doing. If we can keep a place destabilized like Iraq, and just like Dick Cheney was saying, if they can get it split into 3 parts, well then that's not bad, because then all those people are busy fighting each other. Meanwhile, we go through the back door and just swoop up on all the stuff that we want. Whatever it is that these corporations are trying to get in that area, they're going to be able to get it while everyone else is distracted in this divide and conquer. I mean, think of it. It's divide and conquer tactics. Exactly. That's what's going on.
And we're getting the oil right now for a pittance. And you know why? because we mark up all of our military tech. So, for instance, were we to print money out of thin air, which we do, and then buy oil, well, that game's kind of run out. Even to the most backwards of governments, they just don't want the dollar anymore. And the joke's really going to be on the common American citizen. Really, they're going to get left holding the bag. But most people in the world who know what's up, they don't want the dollar anymore. So, what does it do when you create proxy war and you create endless conflict, and it's in your zone and your sphere of influence? You arm them. So you create arms for very, very little, and then sell them at exorbitant prices on a playing field where you're a monopoly, and then you take oil in for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, there was I saw an article a few days ago about how South Korea, which is a huge economy in Asia, is now going to trade with China with their own currencies. They're not going to use the dollar no more. So, I mean, talk about these. You say that anyone that's kind of sees the writing on the wall is going to start moving away from the dollar. Well, that's exactly what South Korea is doing right now.
Yep, they're going to leave the people here, and you'll be surprised that basically everywhere south of here also accepts the dollar and uses it as their collateral. The north and southern hemispheres of the Americas will be left holding the bag. This is the new poverty scheme. This is how we turn prosperous nations into third world countries, and the ones down there even more so, and really make real slaves, not virtual anymore, but there's just not any money for your food anymore. And then you'll be willing to do whatever.
Yeah, man, and you know, now we look at what we know about Ukraine. Ukraine, the people in the east of Ukraine are being trampled on by the U.S.-backed regime now in Ukraine, which started off with a central banker, you know, which is kind of routine. That's what we do all the time. And now he's been replaced by some dude named Petro, which is kind of, I don't know if it's ironic or if, I don't know what the meaning is behind this guy's name, but his name is Petro.
Isn't that what they're going to change the new dollar to, the Petro?
I mean, it's already the petrodollar, you know. But now this guy's a billionaire, of course. So he's obviously connected in the banking system, and he's like probably a former finance minister and all this stuff. And now, if we look at the election that they finally released the results of the Afghanistani election, and guess what? Ex-World Bank economist becomes the new elected, quote-unquote, president of Afghanistan. So now they got the central bank going in there, and I mean, it's just the curtain is falling on this stuff. It's absolutely insane. I mean,
well, some of the countries still fall for it, like like anywhere we're at, they just have to accept it. And they have things over there. We're going to continue to transport over bundles and bundles and pallets of this fake fiat, and those guys will keep accepting it, and they'll keep giving us poppies and lithium and all that other good stuff that we can't grow here.
And I mean, it's just a slap in the face when you see something like Joe Biden's son becoming an executive at Ukraine's biggest oil producer. I mean, it's absolutely insane. You know, so it's just a total slap in the face, and these guys are doing it just out in the open now. You know, and I just wanted to mention this this good news before we jump into this whole thing with Iraq, because I do want to get into that, because the war drums have not stopped beating. They're trying to distract us with this with these bigots out in Marietta and all that stuff. They're trying to distract us with all this other garbage, but we got to face it, man. We're coming into this era now where we're faced with this enormous foreign policy quagmire, and the government's either going to go all out, and this is going to be it, and it's going to collapse the economy, because our economy can no longer support all this foreign policy and stuff, or we can get to a point now where we can put an end to it and start actually legitimately bringing the troops home and closing down these bases and bringing the foreign policy back and get rid of all this black ops crap. I mean, I think we're at the crossroads right now. We had a small victory with Syria. At least we prevented our full-on military from going in there and bombing the crap out of them. They had to resort back to the proxy war. But now here in Iraq, and now in this powder keg that's blowing up over there, and you got to remember that this stuff is now getting pushed off the headlines by this, these immigration protests and all this stuff, which is it's just a very, very small. These things are just really, really small symptoms of the overall bigger issue here. Which, in my opinion, a lot of it has to do with foreign policy, because a lot of our foreign policy back in the 50s, 60s, 70s was directed towards Latin America and all the damage we did there. Now, the stuff that we're doing in the Middle East is not new. It's not new. We've been doing it all over the world, all over the place. I mean, there's been like over 100 countries that we've been toiling with in their inner workings of their government, whether directly by overthrowing them or subvertively with the CIA and these kind of tactics. It's all just blowback, and it just keeps coming back and hitting us. And who has to pay for it? You and me. Who makes money from it? The military-industrial complex. Every time another blowback happens, every time another civil war breaks out, the military-industrial complex, they like that. They love that. They make a lot of money when that happens. But guess who has to pay all that money? Everyone that pays taxes in this country, whether you're an immigrant or whether you're a U.S. citizen or whether you're a tourist. When you come here and you buy stuff, you pay taxes, and you're paying for the slaughter of people all around the world and the overthrow of democratically elected governments. It's absolutely insane.
Yep, and there's no end in sight, man. There's just nothing. There's only a couple stopgap measures that are keeping basically me and you from having to fight in a war right now, and it's pretty much the stalemate going on. Yeah, there is some public opinion in the U.S., and it is growing, and more people are waking up. A lot more people are waking up, and they're starting to see what the future can hold for them if they don't start to take things back. I mean, a lot of people I've talked to about Obamacare didn't realize that it just automatically goes into effect next year on the 1st. They didn't get it. I'm like, do you have health care? Nah, I can't afford it. Cool. Did you hear about the Affordable Care Act? Yeah. I'm going to get free health care next year, right? I'm like, yeah, it's going to be free, dude. Don't worry about it. I'm like, just watch when your taxes just keep going up and up and up and up forever. And for what? For nothing, because it's still not really free. If you have something debilitating, you'll go bankrupt still. It's not like in another country where all the bill is paid for. There's a limit. So at some point, people are just going to realize they're working really hard, and all the bread and circus in the world isn't going to make up the fact that you don't have any free time and nothing to show for all your hard work.
Yeah, I saw this article out of Zero Hedge the other day. And they were showing that since QE3 started, which was only a couple of years ago, the price of our breakfast is up 24%. Okay, and then you saw the headlines coming out before the 4th of July. Oh, the highest gas prices we've ever seen on 4th of July. Your barbecue, the food that you're going to barbecue is going to be the most expensive that you've ever had to pay for it. And then we get the numbers from 2001 of the wage increases adjusted for inflation. And then we're talking about the fake inflation numbers that the government uses. We've only had a wage increase of less than 1% in like over 10 years. Meanwhile, countries like Canada and England are up 20%, and we wonder why everybody feels so damn poor. Well, guess what? It's because everybody is poor now. There is no like middle very much anymore. Yeah, there's a few people that are still up there. Maybe they're making money on tech and this kind of thing. But there's hardly any middle anymore. Everybody's getting extremely poor, and then a few people are getting extremely rich. And this kind of thing is not sustainable. In fact, there was the CEO, this rich guy, came out and he's like, hey man, if we don't do something about this inequality, the pitchforks are coming out. And the guy literally put an op-ed out on this at one of these big sites. I mean, he's basically saying, man, if this keeps up, I mean, it can only go for so long, and then the illusion fails, and then then we're really going to get fucked. I mean, the anger and the tension. I mean, we're seeing it boil over now all around the world. America, it's a bit delayed, but it's happening. And it's just like with these people that are protesting the illegal immigration right here in Marietta. I mean, in some ways,
it's so short-sighted, Nick. There's so many more things to be worried about than 65,000 children to be reunited with their families over here. Oh no. What a threat. What a threat. When we have an impending World War III scenario, basically every day anything could pop off. And then everybody in selective service is going to get drafted. I don't think people get that. Do they have sons, daughters, husbands and wives, and women will be drafted too, man, because it's all out. That's what happens. Everybody's geared towards it. So it can happen at any time, and people are sitting here worrying about a slowly eroding border. The border's been non-existent for a long time, and everything's just coming home to roost with our own foreign policy south of the border. We've made it so untenable to live there now that people would rather risk their lives in any way to get up here, which is very ironic considering we were the ones that pretty much created that instability down there. I read an article the other day that it's so bad in El Salvador with gangs that teachers are getting assassinated for giving a failing grade. So when society's degraded to a point of that lunacy, of course there's going to be people leaving. This is going to be one of the biggest migrations you've seen. Now 65,000 is just the start. That's what I think. But we have space. We actually probably do need some energy from the immigrants and to keep us going, man. It's not a bad thing. People just have been brainwashed into thinking it. Now, if they let over like 5 million, that would be a different story. But 65,000 and their kids, come on.
Yeah, man. And now we have to think about these numbers as well. Now, you know how many people have fled Syria ever since this whole thing started with Assad? Which we talked earlier. We are helping fund the rebels that are fighting the civil war. Guess how many people have fled Syria since this thing popped off?
I would say at least 1 million.
Yeah, man. 2 million people.
Yep.
2 million people have now fled Syria, and now Syria is so bad that there's people fleeing into Iraq. Anyone that's middle class in Iraq is fleeing Iraq. Now there's been 800,000 people that have had to flee Iraq. You know, so we're talking about things that we caused, having millions of people displaced, and now these people are sitting here getting all mad about 65,000, 80,000 people coming across our border to the south. Now it's just absolutely insane. But here's the thing. The reason why I understand is because these are all people that were formerly middle class, and they're really angry because they don't know what happened. They don't know why their money disappeared, why they can't afford to live a decent lifestyle and have a car and have a one-job family and things like that. They're angry about that, and so being the fact that they aren't aware of the things that we talk about, like the Federal Reserve, the global banking cartels, the foreign policy, being the fact that a lot of these guys watch Fox News, they don't know about that stuff. In fact, they probably support a lot of that stuff because they've been misled, and they looking for a scapegoat, and so these immigrants that are coming up are the easiest scapegoat. That's all it is.
That's exactly what it is, and it's always what it is. Anytime they politicize something that is an issue where a local community could be handling it, it's going to be done to stir the national heartstrings. That's all it is. Oh, they took our gerbs. No, they didn't. China did. Walmart did. Get your head out of your ass and understand immigration is what made us what we are, for better or worse. We get the energy and the problems. We get the new ideas and the old bad ones from people that immigrate here from other countries. They mesh in with our culture, and then we change. And our continual evolution is what's kept us on top. But guess what? The problem isn't people coming and trying to escape a situation our government created. The problem is we're allowing our government to continue to do it and continue to ship jobs and then protest. Why are so many people protesting in the middle of the week? Well, because they took our jobs. That's why. They don't have jobs, so they're out on the street protesting. It's just they need to be in front of, I don't know, a Federal Reserve Bank, or I don't know, maybe even the labor board, somewhere that can create some actual movement in this stagnant economy. The economy is stagnant because all the money's at the top, man. That's what it is. They need to break monopolies up and everything's fixed. And then even all these immigrants can have jobs. Everyone could.
They need to go take their lake boats and go surround some Navy ships out here in San Diego. Don't let them leave port. Keep the guys here. Keep them here on our land, defending our land from invasion, and have them stop wasting money all around the world trying to do nation building.
Why don't people surround the Supreme Court building and force these 9 judges to make monopoly edicts on all these giant corporations and break them up, and we will change everything overnight because the entire political process will be fragmented with all these assets, all these people up overnight. That's what we need now. We're dead in the water right now because unlike a place where there is a lot of divestment, like a China or a Russia, which are spreading their money all over the world, we only play with our partners and we only work in monopolies, and it's just killing us on a competition scale.
Yeah, man. It's just one of these things now where there's been so much wealth and power aggregated into such few hands. I mean, it's kind of just it's one of these things where if we don't make a drastic change right away, and it's a ticking time bomb, really, you know, and there's no telling what route we're gonna go in if we allow this same route that we're on to keep going, because you know, we're in a dangerous time, just like that guy I was talking about, the CEO, rich guy. That was, you know, he was tripping out because he thinks that the pitchforks are getting ready to come out, and they're going to have lynch mobs that go after the rich people. And then you just got this massive inflation, man, and our dollar is deteriorating. Everyone's really angry. Most people don't know where to direct their anger at, and that's why we have these short-sighted actions, these short-sighted sentiments, where a lot of these people are trying to blame the immigrants and stuff. But it's our job to get these people to become aware of what's actually going on, you know, and where the blame really needs to go. And we need to convert. Yeah, they may be simpleton rednecks or whatever you want to call them. It doesn't matter. But they still understand that something isn't right, and something is not. You know, whatever is happening isn't good, and they get that, and that's why they're mad. They just don't know why, and so they're misdirecting all this stuff at the wrong people that are in the right kind of way. I mean, in the right place and the right system. Immigration is one of the best things for your economy.
Right.
You know?
It's always kept us strong. It's a weakness, too, because it allows us to be infiltrated, which appears to have happened, actually, probably from within in a shadow organization as opposed to a foreign government itself or country. But, yeah, that's what's always made us great, and it's that, and it's our diversity, and it's the just different amounts of people everywhere you go that makes this place great. And it's definitely our strength. So they're playing on it, man. They're just playing on the heartstrings of the people, and a lot of these people have strong opinions about something they're very uneducated about, like usual. And a lot of times they really don't even live all that close to here. A lot of people I know were driving down south to come down here, and I know now it's even going into the Dallas area, which is pretty far from the border. So it's definitely drawing out a lot of these, dare I say, Tea Partiers to protect the homeland and do what I guess DHS was supposed to do, but I don't know. I guess now they're just opening up the floodgates for everybody, and they're not even processing people anymore.
Yeah, man. Exactly, dude. And it's like I said, it's not people down here in San Diego where we're at. We are the border town. I mean, we sit right here on the border of Tijuana. It's the busiest border crossing in the world. So you would think that people here in San Diego would be up in arms and trying to go clog the border, stop the border or whatever. No, man. I mean, there was a guy that wanted to do it. Only like 5 people showed up.
Yeah, it was in Murrieta. Come on.
Yeah,
Murrieta. Don't even worry about it. We'll absorb it. Don't worry about it, Murrieta. We'll take in a couple thousand people into our 3.5 million. You don't need to have your little idyllic, golf course lifestyle ruined by a couple more people doing jobs you don't want to do.
Exactly, man, and it's good for the economy. It improves property prices and stuff like that. There's more demand. It's a good thing. And these people they understand something bad is happening, and so they're trying to blame it. And of course, it happens all the time. Just like with any other media distraction, there's nothing substantive that's going to come out of it.
It's simple. I wish people would just really write down and record or whatever when people tell them exactly what's going on wrong. Just play like a sound blurb to people. Say, this is what's going on. Since World War II, there's been basically 2 superpowers, us and Russia. And we had the right idea in the 90s to collapse their economy, to take them out of the picture as a superpower. And of course we did. We collapsed their economy big time. and we took the Iron Curtain down, and we turned them into a capitalist society, and we thought we were going to be able to buy them out. And lo and behold, 2004 hits, and Putin puts in all this legislation that makes it nearly impossible to own anything of real value if you're not a Russian citizen, creating oligarchs. And it shuts out the Western banks. And what we have today is a culmination of that, because once Russia said, no, get out, well, guess what? The petrodollar started to die. That was it.
The person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please leave a message after the beep.
About to take place, and it's not going to be a soft landing for most people, and it doesn't matter really where you are in the world. It may be a little better to be here than in some places, but undoubtedly it'll be tough here. But if what I'm reading is true, and it's a lot of different sources, if we do declare bankruptcy sometime in the next year, month or two, that all social services will stop overnight. All banks will empty out overnight. And all websites will shut down overnight. Because it's all attached to this completely fake number system with nothing behind it. And to spread the pain and to show that we need them so badly in the new electronic currency future they have made up for us, they're going to shut off down everything, even though it could run just fine without any of this stuff going on.
Yeah, man, they're parasites. The banking class, the ruling class, they're parasites over the humanity as a whole, and they drag us all down. They're getting us sick, and now we're seeing a whole world that's sick of these parasites, and everybody's, got legitimate grievances, legitimate anger. Now, can we channel that stuff in the right direction? That's yet to be seen. I guess that's what, that's what people are trying to do. And it's tough because people are always infighting. There's always this divide and conquer type of mentality that goes on in all these groups, Republican, Democrat, anarchist, socialist, communist, capitalist, all this crap. Most of it is all superficial, and most people can agree on almost everything, but they refuse to. And we're programmed that way. I mean, we're programmed. It's perfect to be that way because then we could always fight each other. We don't have to fight the people that are robbing us blind, looting the economy. And that's what they wanted, and that's what they got. And now it's up to us to find a way to see through that false illusion and try to figure out a way past it and evolve past. And we need to build as a humanity, we need to build up our immune system to be resistant to these pests, to these mosquitoes, to these just parasites that are drawing at all of us, sucking our blood, making us sick, getting us on the verge of our deathbeds. It's time to get better and get rid of this parasite and take it off us and crush it like a bug.
It's coming. I mean, every day we get a little closer. Some people still want to be there, but in my own mind, I'm there too, where we can have these new inventions coming out, and people need to just take them by the reins and demand they be used for the public good, because we have to understand that most of the world's evil will come from the monetary system, the ability to profit out of greed, and especially the ability to profit and thus control people on their needs, not just their wants, but actually things they have to survive. So once we get out of this whole system, which is just, it's a parasitical system to everybody. I mean, think about it. If you do not have money, then how will you eat? That's a problem in our world now, whereas before you could grow your own food and nobody would really stop you, and we're at a point where everybody can have that and have the safety of our modern world. So I think everybody understands that. I think with the flow of information going on right now between everywhere and everyone, that we kind of get that these overlords and these structures we've had forever that have kept us all nice and safe, but in reality have caused war and genocide, can be sloughed off now like an old skin because we can evolve to our next step, self-governance. We're on our path.
Yeah, man, and the once stubborn demographic, I think maybe finally coming around. I got this poll here on medical marijuana initiative in Florida that's going to be getting ready to be voted on in their coming election. A Quinnipiac University poll that this spring charted support of in those older than 65 at 84%. So basically, the people over 65, 84% of them support medical marijuana legalization. Okay, and that to me, that's telling, man. That's pretty big. Because it tells me that these old people that formerly were highly just influenced by television and stuff, they're finally coming around to maybe a few of these new ideas. And yeah, maybe they're not on the same page when it comes to foreign policy and stuff. But at least they're finally starting to come around on this drug war stuff, man. And to me, that's a positive development, and it gives me hope. You know, seeing all this ignorance that still exists out in the country, and even after all this time, thinking that we've made all this progress, you still see discouraging things like we see with this anti-immigrant crowd and all that stuff. But I think the progress is being made, man. And every day, the TV news numbers keep going down, and the amount of people getting their information from the internet continues to go up. And as long as the internet can stay free and stay open, I mean, I think that we have a very, very good chance, man. Now, here's the thing. We've talked about this before. Apparently, I just saw some info today. CISPA is coming back. Now it's called CISA without the P. That's something we got to watch out for because obviously they're going to try to clamp down on the internet. They already are. They're already spying on everybody. But once it becomes more of a nuisance than it is a tool for them to use, then expect them to clamp down on it hard. You know, and that's where we got to be careful.
And we can always hope, though, that people will take kindly to the shift that's going on and realize they don't need these guys anymore, and that we can redirect this system back to what it really is, which is protecting the people that live here. Not to spy on them, not to look for within for a boogeyman that doesn't exist and is created, and they know that it's created, and still they look inward, and they miss things coming at us all the time, and they know it. And they have tons and tons. They have meta years of this data just sitting there, and it can't be processed no matter what. They'll just never be able to create an algorithm that'll be able to zero out stuff they can need and use. And it's just a complete, utter waste of time and money, again, for the military-industrial complex, feeding some kind of organization no one knows about and no one voted for, and that's definitely not working for anyone's best interest. So it's in everyone in the world's best interest that these practices are stopped, because they only result in a few people having total control over you, not just your privacy or life or whatever, but who are you if you don't have any privacy anymore? What can you be?
Yeah, it's got such a chilling, this NSA stuff has such a chilling effect, and it discourages people to communicate. It discourages them to experiment and look into new things, maybe because they're controversial or they're outside the box or whatever. And in this whole NSA thing, it serves as a chilling effect to kind of normalize everybody and kind of get everyone into this shape that they want them to be. This really easy to manipulate, low information. People are too scared to blow whistle. People are too scared to leak information. And it's so Orwellian in form, man. And it serves the same purpose. It just keeps people scared. And of course, there's going to be the few people that are going to still question things. And guess what? Those are the people that are probably on that NSA list that Greenwald's got his hands on. And guess what? According to the Washington Post story that came out about it, they've got very, very intimate details about everybody on that list. So if you ever get out of line, guess what? They're going to air out your darkest and dirtiest secrets. And it's exactly what J. Edgar Hoover laid out back in the day when they set up the FBI. And to think that they stopped doing that would be foolish. To think that they increase doing that is, I think, what would be more likely, and that's probably what's going on now. The NSA is just an offshoot of the FBI, of what J. Edgar Hoover wanted to do, and it's all basically it's all laid out in Orwell's 1984 book. I mean, it's like almost like a playbook that these guys are going by. And yeah, man, it's so detrimental, and to see that there hasn't been any action yet. I mean, we haven't even really seen any legislative action on this NSA thing. Even the Republicans aren't even able to pass any kind of anti-NSA stuff because all this.
Why do you think? What do they have on all of these guys? How do they make? What is the criteria to become a police officer? You can't be that smart. You must be loyal, and they want you to have a mean streak. What is the criteria to be a politician? Filthy rich and filthy morals so he can blackmail you. That's what it is, man. They have them all by the balls. So nothing's going to get done through government. It's only going to get done when the people get to these locations, when they go out to the data processing center in Utah, when they start realizing that everything they've ever done around any electronic media device that can record or film is probably in some kind of data bank in a file with their name on it and all their biometric data, and that everything they've done for, I don't know, the last 15 to 20 years is on there. Will that be enough? If that information came out from Snowden, would that be enough for people to physically get up and do something and take back some semblance of a human life? That's what it may take, and maybe that's what's going to come out, and maybe that's what's going to avert not only a major war, but maybe every major war from now on.
Well, then all they're going to do is say, hey, then they're going to do just like they did with Snowden. Well, do you think that these leaks are good for us to keep us, or do you think that them spying on us is going to keep us safe, or do you think it's a violation of privacy? And
they're going to release the list of names of American citizens who have been spied upon. Who that number's in the millions. What if you see your name? What if I see my name? Do we get lawyers? How does it go? Is there a class action in the trillions of dollars? Is this how the corporation of America is brought down from within by its own employees? Because something would have to come if that revelation came out, and I believe that something along those lines is going to come out.
Well, yeah, man, and that's this leak that they're talking about that's going to avert a war. Like I said, I don't know what war they're talking about. Does it have something to do with Israel, Syria, Iraq? I don't know. Iran, maybe. These guys claim that they're going to leak this info, and so I mean, we're yet to see. It's hard to say. We could speculate on it, but I just hope that I hope something comes about. I mean, as of yet. Like I said, what's his name? That one congressman. He's the one of the few that I actually like. Justin Amash, out of Michigan. He's actually like a Palestinian American congressman, and he's a pretty good. He stands on pretty good moral ground and stuff. And he introduced a bill to defund the NSA. And guess what? They stripped that bill of anything with any teeth, and then they went and tried to pass it, and it had nothing left. And the guy, it was his bill, and at the end, he didn't even vote for it. Because he said that they stripped it of all of its power. Because guess what? The Republicans and the Democrats are both the same. They don't care if they don't want to stop the NSA. Because the NSA is a powerful tool, and it keeps all of them in power. Anyone that comes up, anyone like, what's his name?
But when are they going to pick the wrong general to threaten, and he's going to have his own contingent? When is somebody at the very top in the power structure behind the scenes going to be compromised or offed or have something horrible happen to their own families because of these totally intrusive and invasive practices going on that strips our humanity down to the core and makes us no longer individuals? If we're going to become a hive mind, well, they know they're ready for a fight, because this is what makes life a life, is to have our own individual experiences and not have it be played back for the whim of some weird guy in a little booth somewhere in some data center. That's not what it's about. You want to look out, you want to spy on our enemies and make sure we're safe and make sure their cultures don't take down our way of life, so be it. But from within, come on.
Yeah, man, it's just total overreach, total trampling of any kind of privacy, any kind of expectation of rights and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, we've been betrayed by our own corporate government, whether it be through foreign policy, domestic policy, economic policy, monetary policy. I mean, almost all of it is wrong. It's all backwards. And now, we talked about it before, the government isn't the answer, so what do we got to do? Work from local, work from your own family out, and then work out through your community, and then if it spreads from there, so be it. You know, that's just how it's got to be, from the ground up, grassroots. We can't. I don't think there's a way of, fixing the federal government, guys. Thank you. Hit you Wednesday.
Go through the stereo.